Nearly 3 months into our 4,000-mile journey, I had pedaled from Los Angeles, California, to Ohio on my way to New York City. So far, we had had 6 other companions, and Diane was our 7th, who suffered from peripheral neuropathy, a disorder that causes loss of sensation and an inability to control muscles. She hid the symptoms well. It was only obvious to us when she had to hold on to her husband, Doug, to keep her balance. Together with Doug on his own bike, we had cycled from Chicago, Illinois to the shores of Lake Erie, about 70 miles away from the end of the 7th leg of our journey in Cleveland, Ohio. Doug and Diane seem to be over the 3-day hump. Usually the 3rd day is the most difficult for everyone. And then after that, it starts to get a little easier. I think I'm probably the tiredest and most reluctant to carry on of all of us. That day, the autumn temperatures had returned, forcing us to bundle up more than usual. And the cold highlighted a weakness that peripheral neuropathy exaggerates in Diane.
Now, today, because it was colder, I'm much more numb than normal. You know, my hands are very numb. If it were much colder than this, you know, I'd either have to wear thick gloves or it would be too uncomfortable for me.
But apart from the cold, Diane was feeling positive about this whole road trip experience.
Everything has really gone so well. We've had such perfect weather.
Yeah.
I don't know about the rest of your trip, but this has just been delightful. It seems like it's going to be strange to go home.
It took me a while to realize that this journey was a very different challenge for Diane than it was for many of our other companions. By sitting on the front of our bicycle, Diane is kind of admitting to everyone that there is an issue, that she has an impairment that prevents her from doing things that she would otherwise really like to do. And I think that's quite a big step, because up till now she was telling me that she's kind of got away with pretending she doesn't. As soon as you admit you have a disability, people quite often treat you differently. Sometimes you can't hide it, but if you can hide it and then you choose to admit it, maybe you risk being treated differently. And that's something, I guess, on this trip that Diane's just prepared to weather. I think having her husband Doug with her is a massive confidence booster. It means she doesn't feel like she has to put upon any of us, and she would rather not. And Doug's very used to literally giving her a shoulder to lean on. With a new member of our crew joining us for a few hours, we started out on Diane's last day. We had no idea we were heading into what was, just for the day, the busiest place in Ohio. Fun as it was, Ohio's Woolly Bear Parade stopped traffic for miles around and blocked our path to Cleveland. But this late into our journey, nothing, not even a marching band, would stop Diane from having a lunchtime nap in the warmth of the restaurant. But it didn't last too long, since she too wanted to arrive at our final destination that day. Diane had made it fairly clear that apart from a couple of bad nights' sleep, the journey with us had been fun. I was pleased to hear that her husband Doug gained something from the experience as well.
We've been through some tough doings, and it set a new standard for doability. I mean, I haven't been worried about anything. Adventure takes on a new path, and I think Diane has found that camping isn't so awful. We'll see, but that's fun too.
Having Doug along also shed an interesting light on Diane's disability and her increasing reliance on him.
I said earlier, bittersweet. I mean, you wouldn't want the ailment, and yet out of the ailment comes a relationship that's a lot more that I wish we, had sometime earlier.
Together, in that last damp day in the saddle, we cycled into Cleveland to enjoy one of the best rewards of long-distance cycling.
I'm thinking food. All I can think about is food. This is like intoxicating just looking at it.
I could eat about anything in here immediately.
After engorging on the best that Cleveland had to offer, the time had come to say farewell to yet another companion.
I don't like goodbyes. I don't like conclusions. But once it's over, it's over. And I'm anxious for the other person to get in there, because for you it's a whole new story too. It's a whole new chapter. You have no idea. It'll be another adventure.
With Doug and Diane having completed their leg of the journey, we rested in Cleveland before picking up our next rider and our first veteran to join us on the 9th leg, over 190 miles from Cleveland, Ohio to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. 15 days to go on this journey. And Jimmy's just about to ride with us. Let's see how this bike fits him.
My name is Jimmy Klingel. I'm from Worcester, Ohio. I retired out of the Marines in 2005. I was wounded twice, same day, a year apart, April 5th, 2003, April 5th, 2004. And that's my Purple Heart tattoo I have, and that's the United States Marine Corps Bulldog. I was injured the first time with a rocket-propelled grenade. In that blast, I lost the hearing in my left ear. I took shrapnel in my backside and in my right groin. That affects me. My right leg is numb till mid-foot. I can feel my toes, but other than that, I don't have any feeling or sensation from my hip down. And I was also wounded again from a roadside bomb, an IED in Fallujah, Iraq, April 5th, 2004. And in that blast, I had broken my back. I fractured my L2 and L3. I broke both arms and legs in numerous spots. And again, I took a lot of shrapnel.
Seeing a picture of Jimmy's vehicle after the blast, it was hard to believe that he had escaped alive.
I have a traumatic brain injury, a TBI, from the blast. I tend to forget what I'm talking about. I tend to forget people's names. And for the most part, I do remember, but sometimes I struggle to come out with a sentence that I need to.
Jimmy relished the prospect of another challenge, but I was anxious about the increasingly uncomfortable conditions we would be riding in.
The last 2 weeks, I think, of this trip is just going to be tougher on us and tougher on the bike, because we're going into Pennsylvania now. And I have a feeling there are some pretty steep hills coming up. And hills plus rain, wet leaves, cold equals miserable.
But for now, at least, the weather treated us kindly as we pedaled out of downtown Cleveland, Ohio, through the industrial flats and out into the country again.
So how many miles is it to Pittsburgh?
About 150, not too far. Jimmy just said that was one less hill that we had to climb. I'm not going to begin to count hills in Pennsylvania, I don't think.
Away from the sound of traffic, I asked Jimmy more about his tours in Iraq.
Going by a mosque, and there's little kids on the street, and normally the town is full of people. The marketplace would always be busy. Well, as we come cruising into the town, there's no one to be found except maybe a couple kids walking away from the town. And as I came up to these cement blocks, I went to the right, and I woke up in the hospital 2.5 weeks later with extensive wounds. I really, you know, as soon as I came to, when I was conscious again, I kind of figured I'm not doing very well, so I figured that someone had to die, but I didn't know that all 4 of the guys in the back were killed. So only myself and passenger were the only 2 that lived.
After hearing about Jimmy's harrowing experiences, we reached camp and set up for the night.
End of day 1 with Jimmy on the bike. All is well. We've gone about 50 miles, I think. Anyway, I think I'm going to light a fire before it gets cold, because it's going to get cold much quicker than it used to.
That evening, sitting down to cook, Jimmy suddenly alerted us to a quickly emerging problem. Day 1 with Jimmy cycling east out of Cleveland had gone smoothly. But having only just dug in for the evening, Jimmy alerted us that he had developed a serious issue.
So, just let me get this clear. You've been in pain for 10 minutes. It's been pretty much consistently at an 8.
Yeah.
And it's not a pain that you felt before.
No, I mean, it's not my shrapnel wounds. I know that.
With Jimmy unable to identify the cause of the pain, we headed straight for the nearest emergency room.
She has ordered an ultrasound on my testicle and ordered an IV for medication. Fun times.
As I sat in the hospital, I worried that this was the end of the road for Jimmy's journey.
All plugged in. How's your morphine feeling?
Not so much pain. It's noticeable, but it's not as intense, shall I say.
By 10 p.m., it seemed likely that he could continue on the trip.
A pleasant evening in the emergency room, but best thing is nothing too serious. So Jimmy, tell me exactly what they said you have.
They said I have a hydrocele, which is, I guess, fluid around the testicle.
Pleased to escape the hospital with a non-lethal chafing injury, Jimmy and I returned to camp.
Best news this morning is that Jimmy seems okay. It doesn't seem to hurt too badly, so I think he'll be able to carry on cycling, which is good. The worst thing about this morning is that it looks like winter.
After servicing the bike's brakes in preparation for the steep hills ahead, Jimmy surprised me by presenting us with a gift after only 1 day on the road.
Jimmy has just, and I'm sure I don't deserve this, we deserve it, I think, as the Dominic crew.
For all of you.
Awarded one of his dress uniform Purple Hearts to us. So we'll take this on the remainder of the trip.
It's on the side of my back.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Thank you, Jimmy.
That's the least I can do.
Jimmy was able to hide most of the discomfort any of his war wounds caused him. It was only when getting off the bike after a long stint in the saddle that his nerve-damaged leg let him down.
Non-right leg Jimmy, making attempt to get off the bike. Take 1. There you go.
You got it.
You all right?
Yep.
Is it coming back?
It's like that pins and needles feeling.
Sorry.
No,
I can't help thinking it's my fault. Well, I know it's my fault, actually.
All right, we're good.
You got it back?
Yeah, just like, you know,
Yeah,
arm falls
tingly,
asleep, you're
tingly,
like,
tingly.
Yeah,
Jimmy's toes are back, people. Woo!
I got toes.
These hills getting towards Pennsylvania, still not quite, we're still in Ohio, but they're getting hard, short but steep. And we haven't seen really steep hills, feels like, since the South Dakota, the Black Hills. And tomorrow, we'll make it, fingers crossed, to Pittsburgh.
So far, Jimmy's leg of the journey had been interrupted by an emergency visit to the hospital. His last night on the road had been tranquil, but wet.
It rained a great deal last night. It was a pain in the arse getting the fire lit this morning, but we'll manage. Gonna cook steak and eggs for breakfast.
That's if the support crew didn't attempt to initiate some kind of protest.
Queremos comida, queremos libertad, queremos justicia. El pueblo lo pide.
Today is Jimmy's last day. We'll be arriving in Pittsburgh probably this afternoon at some stage, as long as it doesn't rain too much. I think all of us, including him, wishes he'd been on the bike a little longer than 3 days. But that's how long this particular leg is, so that's all we got. And I think he needs to get back to Cleveland for some kind of award ceremony.
Okay, guys.
Okay, guys, ready.
With Nadia, the head of logistics, giving the go-ahead, we rolled out for a damp and undulating day, pedaling into Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
You see that sign? I like that sign.
All right.
Downhill signs.
Well, let's not crash.
We won't, promise.
Because I'd feel it first.
Yeah, you would.
Again. Woo-hoo! Oh, yeah. Holy shit.
We coped well with the hills to begin with, but unfortunately, the weather turned against us. But given how much Jimmy had been through already, I didn't doubt his ability to grit his teeth and get on with it. If it ain't raining, it ain't training, he'd once said to me. Although Jimmy's shrapnel wounds gave him problems sometimes, his physical injuries paled in comparison to the hidden wounds of war that he and many of his fellow soldiers have had to grapple with.
Some of the most dangerous part of, post-traumatic stress is it's unpredictable. 1 minute you can be fine, and the next minute you can think about what happened. It's called survivor's guilt. Why did I live and they, the 4 guys didn't make it? And then that can put you in a bad situation where suicide is thought. Not necessarily acting upon it, but thinking about it, well, this is probably, an easy way out. I found out on my own that some of the medication were good, but the way I cope with it is I talk about it.
Right.
I learned to be open about it. I have nothing to hide. And I actually start conversations by talking about it because it eases my mind.
The worst hills of all were saved until just a stone's throw from Pittsburgh, when neither Jimmy or I had a dry bone in our body.
These hills are killing me. I hate them already. These hills are something else. Horrible. I find it amazingly hard to believe we're so close to the city.
Rolling up to the end of the road, I realized that after only 3 short days together, I would miss Jimmy and his good-natured determination as we moved forward. In the next episode, I meet Amy Threet, my last companion. Together, we take on the Appalachian Mountains, the last barrier on our journey to New York City and the end of our journey.
Pennsylvania wins the prize of the steepest hills on the trip. If they get any steeper, I'm going home.